Magandang gabi, ako po si Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Ito po ang Luminous. Hi from Baguio City. Kamustahin ko lang po lahat ng nakatambay na dito. Ma'am Pinay Paparazzi, Rosel Erpelo, Jeremy Huber, ay ma'am, long time. Haron Mohammed, Higgs Heisenberg, Menchi Nifled, Avelino Toroy, Mia Poch, Daniel Barrion, Ma'am Pinay Paparazzi, Asel Terago, John Brian Monterola, Lani Pai Pagemans. Wanderlust, Paris Visaya, Amethyst Ferrer, Giselle, Jade Kevin Santos, Sandy, Dante Hernandez, Chev, Cutie Cherry Kuo. Sa ating Facebook naman, Irenea Sino, Cruena Tamayo Garcia, Suchi Gisela Suri Manishita, Everly Eve Mariano. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Well, medyo exciting yung araw ngayon. Um, Many people are still expecting Madam Inday Sara to file a certificate of candidacy. Today was the last day para sa filing, and at the last minute, precise about 4 o'clock, dumating po yung ilang mga magfa-file for PDP laban. And surprisingly, Senator Bato de la Rosa was there, and he filed a COC for uh, candidacy as president. Before him, former presidential spokes Ernie Abella also filed as an independent his certificate of candidacy for president. Ngayon nakikita ito ng mga tao bilang pagkakataon na magagamit pa rin ni Madam Inday or perhaps some surprise candidate na for substitution. As we have kept reminding everybody, which nobody seems to give us credit for, is that at the start pa lang, pinopost namin parate yung calendar of activities ng COMELEC. So, the filing of certificates of candidacy were expected at the end of the month po maglalabas ng tentative list ang COMELEC, and we have, or the candidates have until November 15 for changes. So the parties can change if a candidate withdraws or dies, uh, or dies or is incapacitated. So the deadline of November 15 is for substitution to be included in the ballot. Okay, please underscore that. If the substitution is made later on, hindi po mag-a-appear sa ballot yung totoong kandidato. The old candidate will appear, but the votes will be cast even for the old candidate will be counted for the new candidate. Okay? So yung mga nagsasabi na hanggang November 15 ang deadline, that's not exactly true. Yung November 15 na deadline is for inclusion in the ballot para ma-print yung ballot in for the new candidate para ma-reflect yung bagong kandidato. Walang nakikinig. Oh. Ilang beses ko na itong sinasabi. The deadline for substitution is actually there is no deadline. Okay? Kahit the day before elections, pwede pang mag-substitution. So, yung substitution deadline of November 15 is for inclusion in the ballot. Okay? So the scenario that most people are thinking of is that Senator Bato de la Rosa is something like a placeholder for the real candidate. And most people think na the real candidate is Sara Duterte. Well, ang daming nagsasabi dito, Sara for sure, for president. Ngayon, sige, it's also entirely possible also that Senator Bongo, if Senator Bato de la Rosa is a placeholder, isn't it also possible that Senator Bongo is a placeholder? Magsisenaryo building na rin lang tayo, then idagdag na rin natin. Remember that Senator Bongo has repeatedly said he doesn't want to run. At least he said that for the presidency. Tapos, biglang siya yung pinatakbo and PRRD withdrew his intention to run for vice president. Ngayon, itong intention ni Pangulo, di ba ang sabi niya, it's because people think that it's unconstitutional for him to run as vice president. Pero excuse me, yung impression of unconstitutionality has no bearing. 'Di ba? Kahit anong isipin pa natin about being about PRRD's run for vice president as being unconstitutional, only the Supreme Court can say that. But a plain reading of the Constitution says that he can. Okay? Thank you kay Sir Nathaniel Quintos for your super sticker. Di ba? O si Ma'am Annie biglang, Duterte, Duterte. Hindi ko rin naman sinasabi yon, but it's also possible, di ba? Kasi nagsisenaryo building kayo na si Senator Bato is the placeholder for for Mayor Sara. Yes, it's possible. But then, if Senator Bato is a placeholder, don't you think that Senator Bongo is also one? Diba? So, in other words, a lot of things can happen. But yes, today's filing indicates that meron pa, may chance pa for those of us who are hoping na makakatakbo pa si Madam Inday, then yeah, this opens up that possibility. Kasi, uh, kasi 'di ba, we were hoping, for instance, we were thinking na, ito, baka lakas CMD, hindi sila nagpatakbo. And these are the groups that have been endorsing Mayor Inday, di ba? On the other hand, si uh, BBM, his original party was NPC. But now he's running as the presidential candidate of Partido Federal without a vice president. So what does that mean, 'di ba? uh, can he slide down, for example, to a vice presidency? Yes, he can, but there has to be a candidate for that position for which he will be substituting. So it will depend on what party will have that kind of vacancy, di ba? Or that kind of vacancy to be filled. Um, Now, what could possibly have a vacancy later on if somebody withdraws? Well, all the other parties, for instance, PDP Laban, if Senator Bongo withdraws, diba? All the other parties that are willing to take him, if they're willing to withdraw, if the vice presidential candidates are willing to withdraw. Ito, yung mga nagagalit na hayaan na si Mayor Inday and all that, hindi po namin pwede siya hayaan. Because regardless of what you think, she is a newsmaker. At nasa gitna siya ng isip ng mga tao. She's foremost dun sa pag-iisip ng mga tao. I cannot leave that alone. 'Di ba? It's so much in the news. If I don't comment on that, medyo pagdududahan nyo rin, bakit walang komento? And I think that it is unfair for you to say na hayaan na siya. She is very much in the news. And no matter how you turn it upside down or inside out, people really do want her. In spite of her statement before na tatakbo lang siyang mayor or tatakbo siya ng mayor ng Davao City, hindi nawalan ng pag-asa yung karamihan, yung bulk ng kanyang mga followers who want her to run. So I don't buy into your idea na hayaan na siya. Huwag pilitin kung ayaw and so on. Nobody is saying na kayang pilitin si Mayor Sara, least of all the rest of us. But if on her own she allows herself to run, then sino tayo para magsabing huwag siyang tumakbo? 'Di ba? Now, there are others who are saying that kasi they don't want her to run for the presidency. Well, that's your call. You're entitled to have your own opinion on who you want to run. But let's not mistake who you want to run for who can run and who can win. Ah. Antonio SC30 says, salamat sa live. Badly missed you in Karambola. Sobrang gigil ako kahapon sa pink movement linaw. Now more than ever, dapat united tayo until May. Yes, because the other side is not averse to foisting fake news on us and hijacking even things like like the breast cancer awareness movement, 'di ba? Ay, sino nanonood? Hi, Joseph Juventud, who's watching from Davao. Ah, Alexis Manalo says na wow, mali si Bato, inakalang makakalusot siya as HNP candidate for president. Ayon, napilitan na lang under PDP, baka mapahiya kung hindi i-submit. Are you sure that's what happened? He just came in wearing a hugpong shirt, but that doesn't mean he was filing for hugpong. 'Di ba? He filed for PDP laban and I don't think that was an accident either. Wag naman natin basahin yung wala dun sa facts. Okay? You cannot make that sort of mistake. Nor can you even make that sort of attempt. Kasi the if you file it under hugpong and you're not a member of hugpong, hindi rin yan tatanggapin ng COMELEC. Okay? Now, if he is a member of Hugpong, then meron pa rin yung 'di ba? Hindi mo pwede lusutan if he's a member of Hugpong and did not get the blessing of Hugpong to file, yung partido ang magsasalita. Kaya hindi, you know, let's not do that to Senator Boto. That's unfair. Alan Jacob says politics is more exciting with the Dutertes around. That's true. What are we ever going to do without them? Sino ba ang pambato ng admin? Sabi ni Jose Viray. Alangan pong wala po at tahimik lang ang presidente. Well, for me, I, anything can still happen. So everybody is now not looking at today as the last day for anything, but to November 15. Diba? Sabi ni Cthulhu, I wonder kung anong topic ng meeting sa Davao kagabi. People were busy last night according to Sir Mark. Yeah, that's good. I have an idea. I just don't know if it's true. May chance bang magsama sila Sarah at BBM? Like I said, since anything is possible, yes, pwede. Yes, yeah, yes, Inday BBM, posible po yun. Inday Bongo, posible. But, okay, possible is not the same as probable. Let's just underscore that. Marami pa pong possibilities ang pwede right now. So, I think it would be a mistake for us to, kumbaga, na makampante na, ito na lang kasi, ito na lang ang tatakbo. Like I said, the president has changed the rules of the game. Hindi na po natin alam for sure as of today, so we're looking now at November 15. Posible ba yung partido ni BBM at partido ni PRRD ang mag-merge? Think this will have a big chance in winning? Merging two parties is very, very tricky and that would require a lot of negotiations. Hindi ko alam kung that would still be possible at this time. But maybe possible but not probable. Diba? Glenn Gala says, with maybe pro-administration, Mabi? Pro-administration running for president, can she replace an independent candidate like Abella from Glen of Calgary, Canada? I don't think so. Normally, a substitution is within the same party, but I have to get back to you on that one. I'm not sure. The rules on independent candidates. Western elites can't do anything anymore, even if they still use leftist spreading propaganda. Most Filipinos are woke behind the lies of the past. They are still dying to make this country on its lowest possible state. BBM will reign and will make great changes. The tiger of Asia will soon wake and countries will salute our nation. Okay.
Yun na.
Posible po kasi mahati yung boto in the end, baka mga props pa manalo. Poops pa manalo. Elvira says, Sara lang talaga kasi t-shirt ko, Senador Bato, green ang kulay, then nagsuot siya ng red jacket. Marvin Orbeta says, the ruling party is just saving face to feel Bato as their candidate. Even if he loses, which is likely, he still has 3 years in the Senate, nothing to lose. Well, ganito po yun. We have to stop looking at our candidates as individual standalone candidates. They're running in a field of other candidates. Now, what happens if Bato runs? Who will win if he runs? Diba? Who will lose if he runs? And so on. I support BBM for his presidency pero maraming kaaway, sabi ni Ms. Karen Martiliana. Medyo risky. I think BBM should be a VP muna this 2022 para when he becomes president in 2028, halos wala na if not gone at all yung mga dilawan. Kaya Sara, parang awa mo na. Tumakbo ka na. Alam mo, na-imagine ko yung expression ninyo, no? Yela says, posible ba ang failed elections in a specific position? Like for example, less than 2 million lang ang highest vote nakuha ng isang candidate na may highest vote. Wala pong ganun. Ang failure of elections is because of some kind of intervention. Like massive cheating, violence. Di ba? Tama ba yun? Violence, widespread violence, and so on. So magkaka-failed election. But a failed election cannot be just for a specific position. It will be for a particular area, all of the positions in that area. So, pwedeng ulit yun. Good morning. Dahil ikaw ang idolo, sakaling tumakbo si Inday at si Bongbong, sino po iboboto mo? Your decision is my option. I don't make that sort of decision when all of the candidates, well, we're not sure. Diba? Like I said, all candidates, they have to be taken into consideration as played against other candidates. Now, I would like to see all of the candidates first before I make my decision on that one. It's difficult kasi, di ba, as we all know, kaibigan natin lahat yan. Well, hindi ko kaibigan sina Mayor Isko. I've only met him once and, it's too short to establish anything. Senator Manny, I have a picture with him, but that's it. So on a personal level, di ko rin siya ganun kakilala. But we have to evaluate based on who is good for the country at the time, playing off other factors. So we will have to see. Titignan pa po natin when all the candidates are in, or at least until November 15. After that, mapipilitan na rin tayo gumawa ng desisyon. Final ako, Sara or boycott ako, sabi ni Ma'am Annie. Wow. Believe din ako. Vicente Fernandez says there are nuisance candidates baka wala to compromise the votes like the two Marcoses na wala namang capacity to mount a decent campaign. Yes, but the COMELEC does remove nuisance candidates. Ang sinabi lang ng Supreme Court is the inability to mount a campaign is not a ground for the disqualification of a candidate. Dati it was, pero ngayon hindi na po. But there could be other grounds, like if the intention of that person to run was for the purpose of taking votes away from somebody else, then that yan. Sabi ni Sean Flynn Tabungar, sana po makonsensya si Ma'am Inday. Ang tanda ko kasi, siya nagkumbinsi kay PRRD na tumakbo. Obligado siya, dapat na ipagpatuloy ang nasimulan ng tatay niya. Pero tiwala pa rin ako na hindi pa babayaan ni PRRD ang lahat. Maganda yan. Tiwala lang. Botong 29 says, I don't think Sarah will run as president. Kung talagang tatakbo siya, dapat ngayon na nag-file. Why wait until November? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to you because of only of the things that you see. But what about the things that we do not see? 'Di ba? And maybe those things that we do not see will help us make sense of it later on. But nobody is talking. I mean, we're hearing rumors, and but I cannot even say them out loud because it might be fake news. Hindi tayo nakasisiguro dyan, sabi ni Karen Lulu. Ang deadline ng substitution is until November 15. No, I said the deadline for substitution is even election day itself. But the November 15 deadline is for inclusion in the ballot. So these are the possibilities. Ayaw ni Sara pero may oras pa kaya nag-file si Bato to hold the chance sakaling magbago isip ni Sara or mag-withdraw si Bato come November 15, tatakbong Pangulo si Sara. Ito lang malinaw sa ngayon. Ayaw bitawan ni Digong ang national position, hindi siya kaalyado ni BBM 2020. Hmm. I think plausible lahat. Tien Barameda says, any idea why PRRD did not choose BBM as running mate last presidential elections and until now is not endorsing for any position? Well, you're presuming that he's not endorsing for any position because that's what you see. But for me, all of the moves of the president right now seem to be very deliberate on his part. Walang aksidente eh. Kasi yung lang pag-withdraw niya ng intention to run as vice president, it seemed to me ang ginamit niyang dahilan napakanipis. So, we still have to see. Kumbaga, the president is playing it very, how do you call this? It's a game of what we call brinksmanship. Sasagarin niya talaga yung November 15 or maybe after that for the real candidate to emerge. So we don't even know who he's actually endorsing. We also do not know if for a fact he is not endorsing BBM. Maaga pa masyado. So yung mga galit na, ewan ko, I think na wala pa pong basis yung galit. Onin Mauricio, thank you for your super sticker. Flores JC says, iniiwasan ng mga Duterte ang matinding paninira kaya hindi muna sila nag-file until last minute para mabulaga na lang mga kalaban sa politika. Yes, but that's a single reason. You don't mount an entire campaign on a single reason like that. There's too many factors, too many moving parts. I think that siguro that's one of the factors, but it can't just be that. Uh, Maria Teresa Ucias says, ipupusta ko utak ni Leni Robredo, BBM President, Sara VP. Wala kang pinusta. Girl. Umaasa pa rin ako magbabago isip ni Mayor Sara, sabi ni Iris Making ko. Marami pong ganyan. Jose Ilumin says, sent a super sticker. Thank you very much. Leandro Madamba says, respetuhin na lang natin si Mayor Sara. She's in good terms with BBM and taga Ilocos Norte siya by affinity. So, what does that mean, respetuhin natin siya? Jim Agustin Meram says, can Sara replace PDP bets kahit hindi siya under the party? Not likely. No. John Tinatan Talosa says, pwede po ba lumipat ng party kahit tapos na filing ng COCs? Yes. Yes, pwede. Anytime yan. Limuel Doroy says, sana tumakbo si Inday kasi delikado si Bongbong, mahina pa ang makinarya niya, pwede na lang kung ma-adopt siya ng PDP, marami pa siyang kalaban. I like Bongbong but my heart is to Inday, OFW from Taiwan. Hello. Hello po. Patrick Santos says, dinidikit niyo lang naman si BBM kay Sara kasi alam niyong walang winnability si BBM. If di siya didikit sa mga Dutertes, knowing na marami pa ding galit sa mga Marcoses. If ako ba naman highest sa survey, bakit ako mag-a-adjust sa VP position? Kaya Sara landslide vote yan if tatakbo siya. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of these views are really interesting, plausible, and interesting at the same time. At Jeff Espinosa says, palagay ko sasagarin ni PRRD hanggang November 15 para malaman niya kung sino ang loyal sa Hunyango. Hmm, yeah, pwede. Pwede talaga. Ganun kalalim yun mag-isip eh. Hindi kasi, like I said, yung mga guesses natin lahat, baka in the long run, isipin lang ni Presidente, kababawan ng isip ninyo ha. Ina Sin says, just tuned in. How to send sticker? Will you be meeting TP? Enjoy nila. Yung mga tanong, akala ko nasa topic. Super sticker, dun po sa dialogue box, just click the money symbol. Tapos, ayun, if it's available in your jurisdiction, may magpa-pop up. Will I be meeting TP? Ano sa tingin niyo? Thank you kay Arnel Karin from for your super sticker. Senaryo, bakit naka-all caps ka? Teka muna, hindi ako nag-ano ng all caps. Para niya akong sinisigawan eh. Rolando Morales says, kung nagawa ni Digong build, mas marami pang magagawa si BBM dahil siyang hahawak ng last will and testament ni Ferdinand Marcos. Etong tanong, inaamin ba ni BBM na may ganyan? Okay, think about it. It's one thing for you to believe, let's say, yung sinasabi ni Doy Laurel. But remember, sinabi niya yon, which makes it hearsay. Sinasabi niya yung allegedly sinabi ni former President Marcos. 'Di ba? And nung sinabi ni Senator Doy, namatay na si Marcos, which means dead man's statute yon. Yung kumbaga, how can anybody verify the statement of a man who is dead? Okay? Finally, I think we also have to look to the kids, BBM and Aimee, and of course Irene, to see if they are verifying the truth or falsity of that one. So, yung kumbaga, if we're making decisions based on hearsay evidence, medyo malabo po yan. Yeah. I think it's better to make a decision on the platform of BBM. Di ba? Sabi ni Jamri Marjo, let's support Mocha Mothers for Change party list. Good one. James Gopez says, BBM Sara, para po wala nang puntahan ng mga dilawan. No reason to impeach the president. Maging mapanuri po mga kababayan ko, kailangan tayong magkaisa para BBM Sara tandem. Ang bilis ng comments. No, Bato, BBM, go, di nyo na kami maloloko, oy. Niloloko ba nila tayo? Sinabi naman ni Mrs. Marcos na itutulong sa Pilipinas and the whole world. Yeah. Okay. Possible scenarios to unfold on November 15, sabi ni Jonas Librodo. Scenario 1, Sara will sub for Bato as president and PRID will sub for Bongo as vice president. Okay? Scenario 2, Sara will sub for Bato as president and Marcos will merge with PDP and sub for Bongo as VP. Well, he doesn't have to merge. He just has to become a member of the PDP. Marcos as president, if he's a member of PDP. And Sara will merge with PDP and sub for Bongo. No need for the merging nga po. Kailangan lang yung membership. And sub for Bongo as VP. Scenario 4, Sara will sub for Bato as president and Bongo as her VP. Yun. Okay With all these political craftsmanship, sino ngayon ang chief politician, Mr. Gordon? Nakahanap pa talaga tayo ng ihihirit kay Senator Gordon, ano? Sorry ha, hindi namin dinidikit si BBM sa mga Duterte. BBM, meron siyang strong brand na posibleng magpanalo sa kanya. Ang realidad ay Marcos supporter lang ng nakapagpanalo kay Tatay Diggs. I disagree. I apologize, but I really disagree. That's unfair. Okay? Because until I met the Marcoses, I would never have voted for them. I would have voted for Tatay. I did vote for Tatay. Okay? So, walang ganyanan. Para namang capable tayo na bilangin talaga yon yung 16 million or maybe 20 million. Wag naman pong ganyan. At wag naman po mag-away. Wala pa tayong pag-aawayan. Yay, nakahabol, sabi ni Tata. Thank you for your super sticker. Blessed evening, Luminous. I was planning to register to vote pa naman kung tatakbo si Sarah. Oh, guess not. Register ka pa rin. Aba, baka manalo yung mga kalaban. Mahirap na. Sabi ni Sheila Palapala, kung aawayin yung DDS, wag ganyan. Sa tingin niyo po ba manghihimasok ang US sa eleksyon namin? Kailan ba sila hindi naghimasok? Mga pakialamero yan at saka pro-liberal. Attorney, di ba ang substitution dapat same party? Kaya siguro isip namin dapat may merging na mangyayari. Eh, bakit kailangan i-merge? Ang tindi ng mga usapan na ganyan. Kailangan lang maging miyembro ng party. Hindi ba mas madali yun? 'Di ba? Dahil isa lang ang kausap. So, yung kandidato tsaka yung party. Yung party na iiwan, maaari naman silang mag-adapt. So, bakit tayo pamimili ng mas mahirap na senaryo na which will bring it into the realm of the impossible, di ba? Yan ang sinasabi ko pag si Sarah run for president, hindi susupport ang BBM. Do we even know that? Because those guys are friends. If ever, mag-uusap sila. But if ever there's any rivalry, it will be a friendly kind. They're not going to fight the way I'm seeing some people intent on creating a fight here. Excuse me, di ang Marcoses nagpapanalo kay Duterte, sabi ni Patrick Santos. Sige, patakbuhin niyo si Sara and BBM, let's see kung sino panalo. Diyos ko, konti lang votes ni Marcos sa Vismin. Observe niyo, di nga 2 digits ang nasa survey kay Marcos sa Vismin. Let's not go from one extreme to the other. Likewise, di ba? Ito, Daniel Barion says, PRRD is playing a genius tactician. No, can you say Okay, difference. What's the difference between tactics and strategy? Strategy is the entire game. Tactics is the play. Okay, for one particular scenario. Tactics is the battle. Strategy is the war. Okay. Note, in fairness, Duterte was elected in 2016 not because of Marcos loyalists. He was elected genuinely by the people. Duterte has their own solid followers. Take note, I'm just saying yes to everything. It doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't necessarily mean I agree or even disagree. I think a lot of your comments are super smart. And I may not necessarily agree, but I think that it should still be put out there, di ba? Good evening. Is it possible that any independent presidential candidate can be replaced by anyone from any party? That's not likely. No po. Ferdy Murao says, bakit blooming po ang aura ninyo? Actually, baka kasi masarap yung hangin dito sa Baguio. So, di ba? Parang, wow, maaliwalas. What will happen to Kusi faction candidates if Comelec favors Coco faction of PDP? Can they still run under another party, especially the possible substitute to Bato? Hearing will start na yata next week. What will happen if the Kusi, if Comelec favors the Coco faction of PDP? They can actually form a different party, but that will be difficult right now. It's possible that the PDP, the displaced PDP members, kasi hindi naman sila sasali dyan sa Coco Wing, assuming that they might, supplement an existing party. Charan! Baka lumipat sila sa isang established na party. They bring in greater numbers. Let's say there's a small party. It's established but has very little numbers. The displaced PDP can go there, negotiate for certain positions, and come out still a party. Diba? Michael Oyaw says, tandaan nyo, kung hindi nanalo si PRRD, hindi mag-iingay ang mga loyalista at hanggang ngayon, Nakashadow pa din si Marcos sa mga dilawan niya ng totoo. Roldan Balaba Ranocco says, ang mainam na gawin nila Lenny Kiko ay maghukay at ibaon ang sarili nila at isipan nila na kamote sila. Thank you kay Belen Sardovia. Nagpadala po siya ng pangkape. Okay, let's move to, let's just add here. Ano ba yung gusto kong i-add dito? There you go. May nag-file din na iba. Wala, this is so much fun. Ayan, no? And these two. So, may mga questions kasi tungkol dito sa pag-file ng mga ito. Ngayon, pareho silang may kaso. Diba? So, halimbawa, si Senator Trillanes, former Senator Trillanes, may hinaharap siya na dalawang kaso. Meron siyang libel na na-convict na po siya, pero on appeal. Maaari ba siyang tumakbo? Yes, maaari siyang tumakbo dahil hindi pa po final yung kanyang hatol, yung conviction niya. Si Madam Laila, tumatakbo din naman siya bilang senador at meron din naman siyang existing na mga kaso. Again, pareho po silang hindi pa convicted so they're allowed to run. Do you think that's fair? Para sa akin, ang meron kasing presumption of innocence. So until maging final yung kanilang conviction, we cannot say that they are guilty yet. Although there is already evidence to indicate their guilt. Okay? Di ba? Do you think that not only DDS wants Sarah to run but also Yellows? Because they would benefit if BBM and Sarah would run in the same position. Maybe. It's possible, but you'll have to look at the numbers eh. Like I said, hindi pwedeng who will win, BBM or Sarah, when you're actually looking at a lot of candidates. Diba? Super Del says, Sarah na naging bato pa, charot. I do like that. So, the reason I posted these two, yung kay Senator Trillanes at saka Senator De Lima, ang dami kasing nagsasabi, pwede ba silang tumakbo? May mga kaso sila. 'Di ba? May mga they're facing charges, they have these cases pero hindi pa po sila convicted. So, remember this unless meron silang kasabay na kaso. So, there are some candidates na they're facing criminal cases pero na-disqualify na sila. Ito ay kasi finailan sila concurrently sa ombudsman ng administrative case. Tapos, na-resolve yung administrative case bago na-resolve yung criminal case at dun sa administrative case may perpetual disqualification. So, in cases like that, hindi na makakatakbo dahil dun sa disqualification nila if it becomes final. So, but in the case of Trillanes and De Lima, wala po kasing na-file ng mga perpetual administrative cases na naghahatol ng perpetual disqualification. So, if that had happened, hindi na din sila makakatakbo. Now, there's another thing that I also wanted to point out. Lahat tayo nakafocus sa national. Pero ganito po kasi yun eh. A lot of the work that the president does, requires the cooperation of Congress. Halimbawa, certain laws needed to be passed. Ito lang nitong pandemya, we needed the Bayanihan Act 1, 2, and 3, di ba? Or 2, 1, and 2. The president needed tax reform para naman mas fair yung taxation natin kasi na-overtax ang middle class. He needed to free up land as capital, kailangan ibigyan ng amnesty yung sa estate taxes. Please guys, kung meron kayong mga pending na estate issues, pagsamantalahan nyo na po itong estate tax amnesty. Maaari kasi nang gawing collateral ang lupa para mas maraming umiikot na pera. Magiging collateral yan, maglagay kayo ng negosyo, you help the economy, you provide jobs and so on. Pagka hindi yan magamit as collateral, nagiging tirahan lang, natutulog yung asset. So, and it doesn't help the family much, and even worse, it doesn't help the country. So, 'wag niyo pong kakalimutan na titignan din po natin yung legislators. Halimbawa, sinong tumatakbo sa Senado? Gusto ba nating manalo si Senator Trillanes at si Senator De Lima? Anong maitutulong nila? May mga mahahalagang legislation na kailangan ipasa pero hindi nila na ipapasa. Hindi na re-review, nagki-create ng dissatisfaction o katulad dun sa estate taxes, kung hindi yan naipasa, mas marami pa pong assets ang matulog. So, in order for us to maximize yung ating assets and all that, mahalaga po ang tax reform. Thank you, Kay Roel. May mga na-miss ako. Sandali. Naku, hindi ko mahanap yung iba. Daldal ko kasi. Ayun. Thank you kay Jean Saturn. Ba't hindi ka tumakbo ng senador para namang madagdagan ng lineup ng senators ni P. Duterte? Boto po ako sa inyo. Yee. Ganito po kasi yun. Makakatulong naman po ako kahit hindi po ako nasa Senado, di ba? In fact, madalas noon nagpa-participate ako sa mga technical working groups at minsan-minsan nagiging resource person din po ako. So I know what I'm speaking about when we talk about resource persons in the Senate investigations. Legendary JM 2000 says, big no to Rafi and his son who is running for senator and congressman. Ito, frequently asked question, paano si Joel Villanueva? Well, I'm not sure about his administrative case kasi included, if I'm not mistaken, yun nga, a penalty for disqualification. Now, lumabas yung kanyang kaso, senador na po siya. In order to implement that rule or that law, kailangan dumaan sa Senate Ethics Committee. Hindi po naipasa. Sino ba ang head ng Ethics Committee? Was it Senator Manny Pacquiao? So, because nga collegial yung takbo, yung collegial ang Senado as well as the House, it's very rare na the congressmen or senators will, pick fights that might have long-term repercussions. Halimbawa, itong taong to, kailangan ko yung boto niya kasi meron akong pet bill. Baka hindi mapasa yung bill ko, wala akong accomplishment ngayon. So, nagkakaroon ng, well, I wouldn't say kakuntsabahan, but gano'n ang nangyayari. Napapabayaan yung mga kaso dun sa Senate or House Ethics Committees because none of the legislators want to go up against a fellow legislator. Thank you kay Emeline Chris para sa kanyang pakape. Thanks sa mga info and she's watching from Vienna. Thank you rin kay John Thomason for your super chat. Meg Kilapio Olaves says, wag pong maniniwala sa mga award ng mga yan. Diyos mio, halata naman gusto nila tayong pag-awayan mga kano. Yan ang trabaho nila, manira ng mga bansa. So I suppose you're talking about Maria Ressa. Okay, sige, pag-usapan natin si Maria Ressa. Apparently, she and some Russian journalists or a Russian journalist won what they termed the Norwegian Nobel Prize. Dalawa po kasi yon, Sweden at saka Norway. Sa Sweden po, yung sciences, medicine, and literature. So, dun sa Norway po, yung Peace Prize. Hindi ko alam kung bakit hiwalay pa yon. But really, it's the same organization pero magkaiba yung venues nila. One is awarded in Sweden, the other in Norway. Kaya maririnig nyo, the Norwegian Nobel Prize. It's actually still the Nobel Prize. But apparently, she won supposedly for advocating free speech, which is a condition of precedent for democracy. Yun ang nakastate dun sa kanyang whatever citation. Well, wala ka tayong magagawa. Base yan dun sa kanilang impormasyon. Hindi naman din natin kailangan maniwala. Pwede naman nating dedmahin yan, di ba? Kasi sa totoo lang, disagree rin ako dahil itong si Maria Ressa, strong advocate for checking of fake news. Pero sa totoo lang, yung mga so-called fact-checking na yan, one, bukod sa maaari siya, ini-implement siya in a very biased way, but it also determines who gets to speak and who doesn't. And that is not free speech. Because free speech also means the right to be wrong. Because what is important is the discourse. Furthermore, 'di ba, ang protection of free speech, sinabi ito ng ating Korte Suprema. It is not just protection for the speech that you advocate but also for the one that you hate. Now, they hate the speech of those who are pro-admin. They hate our speech when we think that we like the drug war and we manifest our advocacy for the drug war. Para sa kanila, fake news yan. Simply because they disagree with it. Simply because meron silang particular na narrative na isinusulong. Ito yung problema, yung narrative nila, hindi nila napapatunayan. Yung mga nag-file ng kaso, saan sila nag-file? In another country, in the ICC, kung panalo sila dito, or kung nag-file sila dito, makikita natin kung merong hustisya o hindi. Pero hindi nila ginagawa, hindi nila tinetest yung mga kwento nila in a court. Ang ginagawa nila, dinadala nila somewhere else where their narrative is easily pushed, which I find unfair. Hindi nila laban po sa 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 social media yung mga criminal cases. Fina-file dapat 'yan. Maraming salamat kay Hamon Haromilio for your super sticker. And maraming salamat Ma'am Lilia Papa. Ang gulo, sabi niya, sis, ano kayang kasunod sa BBM Duterte? Okay na bongo. Okay na bongo. Okay, why not? 'Di ba? BBM go. Pwede. 'Di ba? I mean, parang yung magkaibang partido lang. Kumbaga, we will vote for what we call an informal tandem. 'Di ba parang Duterte BBM nung last 2016. Hindi naman natin masyado pinapansin si Alan Peter Cayetano nun. Pero parang ang de facto running mate ni presidente nung time na yon was actually BBM. Magka-align sila ng interests and a lot of us voted for that tandem. 'Di ba? So, sure, I know. Ah, eto, sabi ni Rick, bong, bong, bong. Natutuwa kasi ako dun sa doorbell names na yun, na nakakatuwa. Ito nakakatawa. Sabi ni Angels sa Elegance sa Banal. Sa Banal? Anyway, bald eagle po ang dumating pero ox na ako dyan para may pangbara sa debate dun sa Peking Sanggano ng Tondo. Oh! Ay, John S.C. says na abuso naman ng free speech to the extent na ginagamit na nila to spread fake news and to stomp on the truth. I agree. Ganito nga yung nangyayari, no? Kunwari, meron tayong alam that is common knowledge pero wala tayong citations doon. Ang ginagawa ng kabila, inenegate nila simply because wala pong ganyan na nasa history books natin. Classic example dyan ay yung kay Enrile. Kasi ano nangyari? Sabi ni Enrile na isa sa mga founders or active members si Benigno Aquino the third doon sa insurgency, sa pag-create ng New People's Army and so on. Ngayon, ang sinasabi ng mga fact checkers, hindi yan totoo. Kasi ang sinasabi nila, it doesn't appear in history books. So, ang challenge nila basically was Enrile's memory. So, ang sinasabi ni Enrile, teka muna, at because I was defense secretary, I was privy to certain knowledge. Paano niyo sasabihin na mali ako? You do not know what I know. And what I know, I had gotten from my unique experience as defense secretary for a long period during the Marcos years. Don't forget, for a while, he was SOJ, he was also Customs Commissioner, and isa pa, I think, SEC Commissioner. Something like that. 'Di ba? Paano china-challenge nila simply because they said it wasn't published and it wasn't in a book? Fake na 'yon. And what if you have evidence, testimonial evidence of Enrile? Are you going to say that his memory is fake news? That's incredible, di ba? Si Drilon po ba re-electionist o di natatakbo? Ang last announcement po ni Senator Drilon is that he is retiring. So, kasi patapos na yung term niya. But let's see kung tatakbo pa siya uli. Ay, hindi ko yata nakita kung nag-file siya. Kung hindi siya nag-file, ang sabi niya is that he will accept an appointment with the next administration, if ever. Kung wala daw Inday, iba-blanco na lang nila yung presidency. It's just a chance for Smart Magic to do his thing. No, not true. Paggising natin, itlog na pink na. No, hindi po ganun. Sa totoo lang, if you leave a blank, hindi ito katulad ng written ballot. Na if you leave a blank, baka may magsulat ng pangalan. It doesn't work that way. Kung Smartmatic at Smartmatic lang pag-uusapan natin, kahit punuin niyo po lahat yan, Smartmatic pa rin ang iiral. So that's fake ha. Don't subscribe to that. That's not true. So, may mga nagsasabi boycott kung hindi sila kung hindi tatakbo si Inday. Prerogative nila 'yon. Pero ako, I would like everybody to vote and to vote for a particular president. So, okay, hindi natin gusto si ganito. Well, actually, a blank vote for the presidency is still a vote. 'Di ba? And it's still a valid choice. So, wag naman po tayong magagalit nor say, tell anybody na mananalo ang Smartmatic dyan. Mananalo ang Smartmatic kahit binuo nyo yung balota. Thank you kay Ma'am Emily Sipagan. Ano pong reaction nyo kay Noli De Castro? Well, he's running for senator. I think nagpapatakbo ang ABS-CBN ng ilang mga kandidato para pumasok po sa Kongreso at saka sa Senado. So, wag niyo din papabayaan yung Kongreso, ha? Kasi sa Kongreso nag-uumpisa yung mga sa prangkisa. 'Di ba? Yung mga issuances ng franchises, they emanate from the House. Hindi kayang tablahin yung Senado kung ang walang ipinasa yung Kongreso, 'di ba? Yan. If Mayor Inday Sara's decision is final, suportahan na lang natin whoever PRRD will endorse for president. That's actually a good approach also. I'm not endorsing any approach right now or even any candidate yet kasi I want to see how things stand on November 15. I think I suggest that we all, kind of just hold still until November 15 kasi things are still unfolding. Ang dami pa pong nangyayari. Yung at least nakikita natin yung kabilang parlor. Wala naman silang mga replacement scenarios or if ever, you know, it's not a very good one because they don't have the numbers. Pero tingnan natin, tama kayo Let's see who PRRD will endorse also. And let's let events, unfold. Tingnan natin. Diba? Ang worst thing that we could possibly do right now is to fight with each other. The whole idea is nakapagpanalo tayo ng presidente in spite of Smartmatic, in spite of everything na ipanalo natin si tatay. We can still do that again, diba? We can still do that. Now, kung si Inday, of course, tatakbo, di madali, diba? And we will see how the other candidates, let's see how it goes with BBM. Marami pang ang possibilities dito. Exciting lang to think that at least with Madam Inday, hindi pa sarado yung pintuan. And we don't know if she will withdraw her candidacy as mayor. We don't know if the president has filed his candidacy for mayor of Davao City. But it's exciting to think na meron pa, may Inday pa in the running even if she has not filed a certificate of candidacy. Diba? Yun yung mahalaga dito sa mga pangyayari ngayong araw na ito. Pwede pa bang i-adapt si Mayor Inday ng PDP para pwedeng mag-substitute kay Senator Bato? Like I keep saying, membership po ang mas mahalaga. Diba? Papaano yan si BBM lang ang dahilan ni Lenny? Paano 'pag nag-slide si BBM sa VP, 'di na maka-slide si Lenny? Oo nga naman, 'di ba? Actually, in that sense, if presidential candidate BBM still has that particular option open, lamang siya talaga kay Lenny. Totoo yan. And I mean, let's face it, he's a lot smarter than Lenny. Albert McCann says Lola Art did not file his COC for senator. I know, right? I'm a little disappointed in that. Eto, sabi ni Vester, nakakaumay ang paiyak-iyak ni Kiko Dramatista. Alam niyo naman, ang asawa ay artista, baka nahawa siya. Ang ano dyan is, I understand that, did you know that a few months ago, ang rumor po ay si Kiko ang tatakbong presidente. Kasi ayaw na nila i-endorse at the time. Pero ngayon, nagkabaliktad ang kanilang mundo. Tuloy pa rin ang Madam Lenny, ano? Lakas naman din talaga ng fighting spirit nila. Pwede ba talaga tumakbo sa government position ang isang convicted criminal ayon ba yan sa Constitution? Anong sinabi ko? Sinabi ko bang convicted criminal? Dun sa dalawang pictures na nakapost dito, convicted ba si Senator Trillanes at si Laila de Lima? Well, Senator Trillanes may be convicted in the trial court, but he's on appeal, so he's not yet convicted. Okay? Naiintindihan niyo ba yung sinasabi ko? It's not final if a case is on appeal. Minsan alam mo, very exciting din magbasa minsan ng wall ko. Pag sinabi niyo yung pwedeng ganyan, sa akin nagagalit. Bakit? What are you doing? Killing the messenger? What's wrong with you guys? Diba? Diba? It's in the Constitution, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And an incomplete due process is no due process at all. Handaan nyo yan. Parang tinanggalan nyo na. That an appeal is a right, ha? By the way, every person who is convicted in the lower court can appeal his case, and that appeal is a matter of right. Meaning, karapatan niya yun. If he seeks it, sino tayo para magsabing hindi siya pwede? Di ba? Ang naaano dito is, alam ko galit kayo dito kay Senator Trillanes tsaka kay Senator De Lima or former Senator Trillanes. Pero wag niyo namang i-deny yung kanyang constitutional rights. 'Di ba? Just because galit kayo. That makes us no different from him. Siya nga gustong i-deprive ang presidente ng kanyang pagkapangulo through extra-legal means. I mean, he's always advocated for that. As early as 2016, galit na siya So, why would we stoop to his level? Why would we want to aspire to be the person similar to him? Ray Salazar, sa aking palagay, pag hindi magtakbo si Inday, BBM tayo at Bongo. Not bad, not bad. Diba? Dapat ganun. Kahit maraming manalo na kongresista na makaduterte, pero pag iba nanalo na presidente, magsisibalimbing din ang mga yan. Kaya mas maganda kung BBM o Sara pa rin ang mananalo sa pagka-presidente. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yes, by the way, naalala ko kasi sinasabi ninyo, si BBM kasi, di ba sinabi niya ipapagpatuloy niya yung drug war and so on. Good. Buti na paalala niyo, madam. Kasi merong isang kandidato dyan na nagpe-pretend. Di ba? Nagmimistula, nagpe-pretend na hindi siya na hindi siya dilaw or hindi siya aligned sa pagkatilaw or anything like that. In fact, inaawan niya si Lenny. Diba? Hindi ko masyadong binasa yung mga but very clear na inaaway niya si Lenny. And you know why? You know why he suddenly picked a fight against VP Lenny out of the blue? Kasi sinasasabihan siyang dilaw. Nasasabihan siya, well, unang-una, oo, dilaw. Well, at the very least, may siya, may ano bang tawag doon? Shade ng dilaw siya. Kasi, what did he do? Nanamantala siya. Nagpa-appoint siya kay Pangulo, North Railways. Nagpa-appoint siya after that ng DSWD para mas malawak yung kanya magiging influence, di ba? You know that the DSWD position is almost always, basta yan yung hawak mo, it's so easy to campaign. In fact, that's why Gloria Arroyo chose a portfolio as vice president na DSWD siya. Oh, why? Because look, you're out there, nag-aabot ka ng goods, dumadalaw ka sa mga taong nangangailangan, napaparamdam mo na ikaw ang tumutulong sa kanila, ikaw ang nakikita sa mga oras ng pangangailangan, ikaw yung you deal with the four P's, for instance, yan. In Gloria's case, she had her names in her face in PhilHealth cards. 'Di ba? PhilHealth cards na ipinamigay, pinamudmod dun sa mga sa mga hihirap, guaranteeing na meron silang libreng medical care, health care from PhilHealth, even if walang binayad na premium sa gobyerno. So DSWD is very important. Ay nako. Anyway, naligaw yung train of thought ko as usual. So, the point here being is that, si Isko nagpa-appoint sa DSWD to gain a wider reach. Hindi lang po ang ambisyon niya ang pagka-mayor ng Manila. He was even, as early as then, nag-aambisyon ng mas malawak, mas malaki, mas mataas na posisyon. Kaya hindi nakakagulat na nandyan siya at tumatakbo ng presidente. But he used the president as a stepping stone. And you know why I'm using the term stepping stone? Kasi inapakan niya. Ginamit niya yung Pangulo, yung trust ng Pangulo na ilagay siya, luklok siya sa pwesto, ginamit niya at ngayon, china-challenge niya. As early as what? A few weeks into his mayoralship, di ba? Yung may humihirit na siya na, oh, ito, may mga nahuli kami yung mga na drug pushers, pero walang namatay. Ano yan? Pasaring? 'Di ba? And as soon as he realized na ang daming nagagalit, tumahimik siya. Nagpanggap na naman na kunwari pro Duterte. And even now, nagpapanggap siya na against siya sa mga dilaw. Why is he picking on Lenny? Because she's the weakest. 'Di ba? Hindi niya inaaway yung hindi niya masyadong inaaway. Manny Pacquiao, inaway ba niya? Hello? No, choose a weak one. And especially choose a weak one that will serve your agenda. At ano yung agenda na dito? To not look yellow. Kasi nanliligaw siya ng DDS votes. Nanliligaw siya ng mga BBM votes, nanliligaw siya ng yung mga ganon na the weak ones, the ones na hindi talaga naninindigan na pro-administration or anything like that. Yun yung hinahabol niya mga votes. He's poaching for votes. That's why he's picking a fight with Lenny. Ako, I don't care if anybody picks a fight with Lenny. She's an easy target. But we have to look. Why would I agree? Maybe I agree with your sentiment, but that doesn't mean I'm going to vote for you. Excuse me. Traitor. 'Di ba? Yan. At tignan din po natin yung mga yung mga nagpanggap na pro Duterte ngayon tumatakbo. Even if they're still nagpapanggap na pro Duterte, hindi natin sila iindahin. Bakit ko iboboto yung mga taong nananabutahin ng administrasyon ng presidente? Excuse me lang. Wag na tayo dun sa mga traitor nga. Di ba? Meron dyan. Isang kandidato, kumakandidato. Hingi ng posisyon kay presidente. Tapos sabi ni presidente, sige, gagawin kitang undersecretary. Let's say ng DSWD. Ay, ayaw ng lola or lolo. Mga kandidatong senador yan ngayon. Please lang. Nung hindi useful si presidente sa kanya, ay, dead man na. Ang Gordo nag-file ng certificate of candidacy for senator. Hala! Parang pinalalabas na ko, natatakot daw siya. Hindi siya pwede mag-file in person. Kaya he filed by proxy. Kasi in danger yung buhay niya. Excuse me, nagdrama na naman kayo, pa-victim kayo. Pero lalakas nyo man-victimize, pero pagka-victim mentality ninyo, kakalimutan niyo lahat ng mga panggigipit nyo. Supreme absolutism says with PRRD's incontrovertible higher order thinking skills, he can psycho those cloaking on his side. I won't be startled on how he'll unveil the opposition's not so cerebral strategy. We'll watch out. Ganito yon. Okay? The president will not waste his time on you if you're a loser. Tandaan niyo yan. Thank you kay Harley James. Hi po, watching from Paris, France. Thanks for enlightening us about law and politics. You're welcome po. Kaso talaga drama ni Gordon. Actually, I find it really entertaining. Huwag tayong maaasar. Asar talo eh. Tayo yung nang aasar. Remember that. Okay? Remember this. What is the power of the public? The power lies in our freedom of speech. Yung gustong tanggalin ni Maria Ressa sa atin. Yung freedom of speech na yan, we use that to check our government officials. And so we shouldn't be shy about calling out people who have been, well, how do you call this? Gone astray. Etong si Senator Gordon, aba, kung makasipsip kay presidente noon, hala, kala mo vacuum cleaner. Pagkatapos, eto ngayon, hold hearings until kingdom come. Sus, as if you can. So what, kingdom is going to come next year? Tanong ko po about Sec Abella, tumakbo siyang president as independent. Paano yan? Posible po na si Sara ang pumalit? Kasi sabi ata sa batas, bawal ang substitution kapag independent. Ganito po kasi yan. I think after November 15, maa-analyze natin yung mga yan eh. Or maybe baka, kasi I'm not sure if it's a good thing to tell you why eh. But at any rate, all of this fits in. Remember who Sec Abella is good friends with, di ba? And who he has shared experiences with. With President Duterte. He has never spoken ill of the president. He was transferred to the DFA, di ba? After being presidential spokes, he still has a position. And so he's running as an independent candidate for president. I think that yung sinasabi ninyong higher order thinking skills might be involved in this one. Sabi ni Tess Nishimura, good evening. Actually, nagpasaring po si Kong Marcoleta kay Bloody Gordon. Sana direct hit na lang, hindi pasaring. Alam niyo naman si Kong Marcoleta, deadly yan eh. John Ray Maceliones says, kalma lang po muna tayo, we must be united. Teka muna, bakit kalma? Sino bang hindi kalmado? We must be united till the end, either BBM or Sara. Anyways, we share a common goal na hindi na makakabalik ang mga dilawan or yung mga kulay baboy or whatever stupid names they're calling themselves. Stay safe po. Yes, please. Oh, that's another thing ha. Bukod sa wag tayong mag-aaway, wag rin po tayong pabaya sa ating kalusugan. Ha? Parang awan nyo na. Yung mga boto ninyo kailangan. At saka kailangan tayong sumuporta sa sa darating na election. So, be healthy, be safe. Okay? Madam, pasagot posible pa ba manumpa si Inday Sara sa PDP tapos substitute kay Bongo? Like I said, anything is still possible until November 15 or even after that. Pwede. But, aralin natin yung mentality ni Madam Inday. Would she want to? That's one. Diba? Okay. Gio says, BBM or Sara, isa lang sa kanila para isang boto lang laban sa mga dilawan. Yes, I agree with that one. And I think Senator, the yung mga candidates natin are well aware of what we need to do. Diba? Jade Kevin Santos says, nag-trending din kasi sa Twitter ng gapawoks yung withdraw Isko. Tinanggalan ng karapatan si Isko na tumakbo sa pagkapangulo. Yeah. Alam niyo naman. And for what? Kasi nag-aagaw ng boto si Isko dun sa kanilang mga precious Lenny. Thank you for your super sticker, Donadori Aguilar. Siling Labuyo, normally I will not read your comment dahil naka-all caps kayo. This once lang. Posible pa kaya mandaya ang Smartmatic? Kung oo, ano kaya mangyayari? Like I said, well yes, of course it is possible kasi hindi naman po sila natanggal at sila pa rin po ang bibilang ng mga boto. The question is, will it matter? Diba? Lev John A. says, senatorial list mo for our reference. Tignan po natin yung final list at the end of the month ng COMELEC. That's when ilalabas ng COMELEC. Kasi they'll weed out po yung mga not qualified eh. Pakialis po mukha ni Sabaquin at Trililing dyan, nasusuka ko. Di baka pumayat ka? Para sa akin, that's a dietary aid. May balita po, ano pong balak ni Evasco at bakit siya nag-anib sa People's Reform Party? Parang siya daw po ang campaign manager ni Sara. Ang PRP always pushing and posting about Inday Sara presidency. What do you mean anong balak niya? Positive ako na Sara for president, Bongbong for VP, sabi ni Zevias Chan. Kasi laging sinasabi ni BBM na na open lagi siya sa pag-uusap. I like that. That's positive. Possible pa ba mag-substitute din si Sec Art? Oh, malabo. Walang substitution. Well, kung kapartito, I guess, meron bang tumatakbo? Yeah, pwede, pwede. It's not just for executive positions. Para hindi rin siya masyado halongkatin ng media, kagaya na lang po last Sir Rappler. Oo nga naman. Sabi daw ng ilang mga dilaw na si Isko ay Trojan horse ni Presidente Duterte. Ew. No, it's not true. It's also not true daw na na ano ba 'yun? Tinulungan ni Senator Go itong si Mayor Isko. No, dininay po ni Senator Go 'yan. May opinion po ako, wala tayong mag-aaway na supporter ng Marcos at Duterte kasi ginagawa ni PRRD yan para wala nang dilawan sa 2022. Pati senador ng dilawan para out na sa atin. 'Di ba? Sabi ni Adrian Pangalangan, natawa naman ako na sa dietary si Trililing at Saba. Apakasamang diet. 'Di ba? Tingnan niyo yung picture nila, nawalan ka na ng gana kumain. Why not? 'Di ba? If it works. Joy Mati says, Trojan horses ko, no vote yan sa mga militar. Yung nag-post ako kanina sa Luminous na gusto kong tanungin kay Isko kung hihingi siya ng advice on rice smuggling kay Lito Banayo. Wala yatang nakagets or kukunti lang nakagets. Why is PRRD not supporting BBM? You already asked this. Instead of waiting for Sara, may dilawan sa tabi niya who's stopping PRRD from supporting BBM. Thanks po, more power blooming ka. How do you know yet? Wala pa nga eh. Like we said, November 15 pa bago magkaliwanagan ng lahat. How do you know he's not supporting BBM? Alam mo kung galit si Presidente kay BBM, hindi siya makaka-qualify. There will be something. So, let's not make hasty conclusions like that. Besides, kung merong tampo si Presidente kay Senator Amy, si Senator Amy yung binanggit niya. And si BBM na yung nagsabi, wala namang kaming away, magkakaibigan naman kami. Di ba? Coffee Daddy says, BBM isn't giving one F about Lenny. He's just going on about his plans for the country. Ha 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 ha. Di ba? Sabi ni Jerome Mariano, pansinin niyo naman yung pagtakbo ni Ping Nilangaw na, oo nga, so much for all those ads. Natapos kaagad siya. Sabi ni Koima, 5 minutes na ako nakatitig sa dalawang pictures na yan and I already lost 2 pounds. Effective. Ang labo. Sorry. Tinakbo na. Ayun. Mark Besabi says, I feel ayaw ni Sara yung style ni PRRD na mga substitute and ayaw ni Sara papilit. I remember open si Sara sa 2034, sabi niya. But she also said open siya noon dito sa presidency for 2022. So, ewan ko. Basta ako, I'm looking at all your comments and I'm surprised that so many people have so many good ideas and the opinions are always, tumataas na po yung diskusyon. Hindi gaya ng 2016, ang dami pang laganap na fake news, ang dami pang, tapos, minamaliit tayo ng kabila. Ngayon, it is 2021 and takot na yung kabila sa atin. And in fact, that's what they're trying to do. They're poaching from us. Kaya nga hina-hijack ng partido nila yung imagery ng breast cancer awareness. Ni-launch nila yung candidacy ni Lenny on breast cancer awareness month. She comes out and gives this whole thing about having a pink ribbon. And then suddenly, without a gap in between, pink is her color. Tapos yung pinopost ng kanyang ilang mga followers, and these aren't just pipitsuging followers. These are followers na matagal na with Lenny na, yun, yung Saint Luke's, which isn't true pala, na nag-pink na kulay, sinasabi, wow, pinkness! Parang pinalalabas nila na yung pinkness na yun ay para kay Lenny. So this is all, kumbaga, the difference between 2016 and today is that they're reduced to this sort of thing. Na yung mga very lame attempts at hijacking votes. Kasi sa totoo lang, aware na rin sila kung gano'ng kahina sila. Kaya tignan mo, at the last minute, Lenny yung sambayan, Lenny yung pinili nila because there was nobody else to choose. Which means that si Sonny Trillanes, and that's why I have him here for your dietary needs. I'm sorry, for your dieting needs. The, Yan, Senator Trillanes has been angling to be vice presidential or presidential candidate to be endorsed by Sambayan. Dumidikit siya dito kay Madam Lenny to be the next choice. Kung ayaw ni Lenny, ako na lang, di ba? Pathetic. At tignan niyo yung nangyari, walang kumuha sa kanya. And he is now reduced to filing a certificate of candidacy for the Senate. What does that mean? It's an admission that nobody's really interested in him running for the presidency, and he couldn't get anybody to see it his way. Hi! Diba? One thing is for sure, Digong will be in the history books as one of the greatest political strategists. We have learned a lot in terms of politics and how the government runs. Diba? Vladimir Gonzalez says, always watch you and Karambola, gang. Every morning before my wife and I start work. By the way, my wife wants to send the Karambola Gang cupcakes that we sell. Where do we send them? To DWIZ, 5th floor, City State Center building. That's the building. 709 Shaw Boulevard, Barangay Oranbo, Pasig City. I think you might have to look up the zip code though. Jerick says, different color po sila pero same yellow group. Good one. Wag ako. Aling Lenny, VP Kiko, senatorial lineup, Trillanes, De Lima, Antiveros. O, Jiva? Pwe. Ang tunog ng Jiva? Parang naririnig ko yung term, Jiva? Ito. Matapang lang si Dick sa pananakot sa resource person pero nagpadala ng representative para mag-file ng kanyang candidacy. Takot pala si Dracula. Speaking of Dick, merong sinabi si Madam Lenny na kailangan tumindig na. I'm sorry, that is really grossly off color. Pero nung sinabi niya yun, ay, kailangan tumindig tayo. I was thinking of a certain singer. Okay, next. Why are they still hoping for Sarah Go? It will be Lenny's gain and DBM's loss. Balikan Tilawan yan. How do you say that? Why are you saying that? Sarah Go means that Lenny will gain and DBM will lose? How does that factor? I don't understand. If Sarah runs for president, Lenny will gain votes and DBM will lose? Diba? What is your basis for saying that? I disagree because I don't see any basis for it. Sana mag-repeat kay Sarah yung kay Tatay Diggs na nag-withdraw sa candidacy as mayor and ran as president, sabi ni Ernesto Villagracia. What do you think sa strategy ni Lenny as independent candidate pero lahat naman nakapaligid sa kanya puro dilawan? Kinahihiya nila ang Liberal Party, sa totoo lang. Kinahihiya nila yung yellow and they're turning away from that. They're distancing themselves from that. Pero by aligning themselves with each other, akala ba nila naloloko nila tayo? They just provided evidence that they just changed color. Like changing skins, 'di ba? Nagbabalat kayo, nagpalit lang kayo ng kulay ng kasuotan pero dilaw pa rin kayo to the core. Please. Wag kami. Meron po ako nakita nagbibigay regalo na ang wrapper kulay pink, pasimpleng suhol sa mga tao, matatalino ng mga tao na yan. Receive, and no vote for them. Okay? Yeah, so sige. Tignan natin ulit. Ano ngayon ang mga pangyayari? Nag-file ng candidacy si Senator Bato. Nag-ano, na nag-file ng candidacy si Lenny, running mate niya si Kiko. Nag-file si Trillanes, si Senator De Lima because they can. They're not convicted by final judgment. Convicted, yes, si Senator Trillanes, but not by final judgment. And until that judgment is final, they can still run. Unless they have disqualifications from previous administrative cases, then they are qualified to run, provided they still have all of their qualifications. Okay, that's what. Senator Bato, filing his candidacy today. Na ano ngayon, na-exciting mga tao because what does this mean? This means that the possibility of Senator, Mayor Sara running for the presidency is still wide open. That's of course, so the factors there na lang aren't whether she can if she wants to. Will she want to is the next question to answer, which I don't think we'll be able to answer as of now. But no matter what, it means hindi tayo makakahinga until November 15. This also means that it's still wide open. No matter what people say about one candidate being stronger than the other, all of that gets wiped out if the candidates change by November 15. 'Di ba? So let's see, daming moving parts, 'di ba? Even at the start of this, we were always saying, look at the moving parts. But right now, people are also excited about Sarah possibly still having the opportunity to run. Ba? It's still right there. It's still out there. So, let's not, for those who want her to run, let's not lose hope. In the meantime, some people need a good talking to. And these people are the ones who declared for their candidacies who are traitors to the presidency, to the administration, na namantala, they used their association with the president in order to get position, to get elected and all of that. And now that he's no longer useful for them, tina-attack nila or using it as a campaign platform. So hanggang ngayon, dati ginamit nila si Presidente Duterte in order to gain some fame so that they can run for another position. And now that they're gunning for a higher position, they're still using him, but this time as the foil, as the kalaban, may demonizing him so that magmukha silang mabango. Oh please, doesn't work anymore. All we remember is that you're traitors. Diba? So let's not forget that. Number 2, wag nating kakalimutan. May mga senador at saka mga kongresista na kailangan nating iboto. Huwag kakalimutan, mahalaga ang Senate at ang Kongreso. Huwag papabayaan sa name recall yung ating mga giging kandidato. Tignan po ninyo, ano ba, ibabalik ba nila ang ABS-CBN? Number 1, di ba? Number 2, willing ba silang ipagpatuloy yung mga tax reform measures ni Presidente? Mahalaga po yon. How are they? Number 3, makasarili ba sila? Ito ba yung type na tao na magpapasa ng batas dahil nasuhulan sila? Magpapasa ba ng batas para sa kapakanan ng kanilang pamilya at kanilang pamilya lang? Yung mga tipong gagawa kayo ng monopolyo, di ba? Gagawa kayo ng batas that creates a monopoly in favor of your area or so on, di ba? Halimbawa, may isang senador, may itinutulak na na tax bill that will practically negate the create bill by creating an island, not an island, but an area where those tax reforms will not apply. So wag na wag po natin iboboto yung mga mahalaga na kilatisin natin ang magiging mambabatas natin. And of course, the local officials. 1, competent ba sila? How did they perform during this pandemic? Number 3, pag binoto ka ba namin bilang mayor, lalabanan niyo yung CPP-NPA, yung mga insurgents, di ba? Lalabanan niyo ba ang droga? Ano yung magiging programa ninyo for infrastructure? Magbibuild ba kayo to the point na magkakabaha yung inyong city? Or would you create rational infrastructure program for your city or municipality, or even, propose better infrastructure for your barangay? We like infrastructure programs like build because so many people benefit from it. But yung mga local ones, we have to see who the beneficiaries really are in the long run. Baka gawa tayo ng gawa ng mga pabahay dyan, nagka-create naman pala tayo ng baha. So in the end, may bahay yung mga tao, lubog naman sa tubig. 'Di ba? Or may ibang mga tao na lubog naman sa tubig. Next. 'Di ba? So, pwede pa rin si Madam Sara and so on. Oh, and by the way, ito yung nagsasabi na ano parang patawa lang daw o joke o ano walang respeto daw si Bato. Ay, tama yung sagot ni Senator Bato. Bakit wala akong karapatan tumakbo? Excuse me. Ang dami ko kayang boto in the last senatorial elections. 'Di ba? Anong rate niya? Aba, kung ma-convert ko yung mga boto ko during the senatorial elections to presidential votes, edi matatalo lahat kayong ibang mga kandidato kayo. And he's right. But it's not fair na sabihin na wala siyang karapatan tumakbo. The Constitution doesn't even say that. Excuse me. Okay. And last few comments. I'd rather vote for BBM o wala lang lahat ng yelo. Fenk. Sabi ni Ma'am Eileen. A better mindset. Let's all be aware that the enemy has infiltrated the nests of BBM and Duterte supporters with the mission of destroying the nests from within and have the nests destroy each other. Yes, that's the last thing that we have to, the last item in my reminder list. Huwag tayong makikipag-away doon sa mga kaalyado naman natin. Even those pro-Duterte, may mga aaway ng mga pro-Duterte din. How does that solve anything? Naipanalo natin si Pangulo because we hung together, we stayed together. Nakapag 1 million sa Luneta, unprecedented in so many levels. 'Di ba? Let's not fight. There's no reason to fight yet. Things are still developing. May November 15 pa. And, just by doing this, the president pushed the deadline back another so many days. Ano yung ngayon ng itsura ng mga kalaban? They get weaker and weaker. Did you notice that Inday Sara, despite the many times that she says she's not running, is still the force to reckon with by moving it to November 15 with people still hoping for her to run. Napakita natin dun sa kabilang side na matakot kayo sa DDS kasi the fact that so many are still holding out for Inday Sara means your numbers mean absolutely nothing kasi wala pa dyan ang DDS. You have no complete information. You don't know. No matter how you imagine you're so smart, you're so strong, you have so many votes, all of that gets wiped out, presidential candidates, if Inday Sara runs. Okay? It means hindi nyo nakuha yung majority. So kahit sabihin niyo na, ay, ang taas ko sa surveys, ay, ganito, ganyan. Di nyo pa nakikita yung final lineup and that is what is going to count when the votes come in. So, wag kayong makakampante and all of us, wag din tayong mawawalan ng loob kasi may November 15 deadline pa pala. So take heart. A few days ago, people were already sad, weeping, and some actually, yung naiiyak, ano ba, paano ba si Inday? Hindi siya nagpa-file. Suddenly, nabuhayan kayo. May November 15 pa! Diba? That's like a whole month and almost a month and a half away. And so many things can happen. Hindi pa nga nag-emerge. Sino ba talaga ang administration candidates? We don't know that. In the meantime, paano umaariba yung kabila? They can't even hit an administration candidate that doesn't exist yet. Who do they hit? The president? The president is made of Teflon. It's not sticking. And the person hitting the president just gets hit back with a vengeance by the still to be reckoned with voter bloc called the DDS. Good luck with that. Yeah. So, maraming salamat dun sa lahat ng nakinig. Okay. Ito, last. Unless Oligo says, we will pray 0-22 opposition all. Ay, yes, I don't doubt that. And in the meantime, let's have fun with these other candidates. I noticed everybody pointing out the weakness of Lenny Robredo, di ba? And hello, Kiko Pangilinan as your running mate. Talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel. Wala na bang ibang mas mababa dyan, Madam Lenny? Talaga si Kiko pinili niya. Next. And what about the fun we're having calling out the person who used the president to be appointed to North Wales and then used the president again to be appointed to do the SWD and then used the president again to make himself look so good na kunwari daw, ay, nakahuli kami ng mga drug users pero walang namatay. Kala mo nakalimutan namin yon. Pasaring mo sa presidente after you benefited from him. At ngayon, now you're trying to look like you're not yellow, that you're not opposition, that you were not trying to tear down the president. So ngayon, kinikriticize mo si Lenny as opposed to criticizing the president before. Excuse me lang, as if hindi namin nakikita yan. Kaya, yung communications ninyo napaka-transparent. Uy, kunwari galit siya kay Lenny. Pero actually, dati galit siya kay Duterte. Tinatago na lang niya by pretending to be galit kay Lenny. You're going to have to give us more credit for brains than that one. We can see right through you. Excuse me lang. Thank you kay Miko Shi for your super sticker at kay Mary Faith Real. Hawak kamay tayong itala sa kasaysayan na mabura na ang yellow sa Senado. Ay, di lang sa Senado, pati sa Kongreso. That's another thing. Huwag kakalimutan. Yung mga mayors, vice mayors, konsehal, all of that. Find out, sino ba dyan ang sumuporta sa presidente, sa administrasyon na ito, o hindi. Sino yung mga nangungurakot and undermine the efforts of this government, of this administration. Sino yung mga nasa Kongreso na gustong magbalik ng ABS-CBN? Sino yung mga tumatakbo dyan just for the sole purpose of bringing back ABS-CBN? Makasarili kayo. Hindi, do not deserve a vote. Posibleng makaloko kayo, pero in the end, kahit makaupo kayo, we will not stop calling you out if you try to bring back ABS-CBN. Okay? Yung mga senador dyan, mga makasarili, wag na rin po natin silang ipopoto. Huwag kakalimutan yung mga ito. At paalala yan ng Luminous sa inyo as much as possible. But in the meantime, take heart. Hindi pa tapos ang lahat. Sarah can still run if she wants to, or somebody else might emerge that will just whoop everybody else's ass. Remember, with the vice presidential candidate in Senator Bongo, as we can also consider him a placeholder, that we can consider Senator Bato as a placeholder, meaning those two positions can be still filled up by substitution later on. But in the meantime, also other presidential candidates can transfer parties pa and then be qualified to substitute. So, look at all of these possibilities. Dami pang nangyayari, and let's have fun with those who were opposing this administration. Call them out at every possible moment that we can do so. Yeah, let's just make it fun while we're waiting for November 15. Maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa tambayan nitong araw na ito, nitong sutil Friday na nasabi ko sutil Saturday. Diyos ko po. Sutil Friday today. Thank you very much sa lahat rin ng nabibigay sa super sticker at super chat. Kung hindi pa po kayo like and share, ano pong iniintay natin? Like and share na po. And para dun sa hindi pa nag-follow sa Luminous, don't forget to follow Luminous on Facebook and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Magandang gabi. We had 8,000 live views today combined from YouTube and Facebook. Ang galing ninyo. Ang saya-saya ng mga araw na ito. We'll see you in the next live. We'll try to go live again tomorrow. Bye.